A Mochi Moment from Sadie, who writes, I'm not crying, you're crying. This is what I said during my first appointment with my physician at Mochi, because I didn't have to convince him I needed a GLP-1. He understood, and I felt supported, not judged. I came for the weight loss and stayed for the empathy. Thanks, Sadie. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi Moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Sadie is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
Holiday shopping lists are long, and finding the best deals while still giving thoughtful gifts can be challenging. That's where Amazon comes in. Amazon was just named the lowest-priced online retailer in the U.S. for the 9th consecutive year by Profitero, a third-party analytics and research firm. After analyzing thousands of products, they found Amazon's prices are 14% lower on average, and up to 5% lower than the nearest competitor in key gift categories like electronics and toys. When you're shopping for everyone from your spouse to your second cousin's new baby, those savings really add up. The best part is you don't sacrifice selection for better prices. Amazon offers everything from major brands to unique finds from small businesses, all delivered right to your door. If you're trying to be smart about your holiday budget, and who isn't, visit Amazon.com.
Y'all, Stages is now sponsored by BetterHelp, and I couldn't be more excited because I love therapy. So I encourage you, if you've had a tough year and a half, why don't you give them a shot? You can find a therapist that you can connect with. Their resource is thousands of therapists, well-trained and experienced. You can keep looking until you find someone that you click with. They have customized online therapy. They do offer videos, but they also offer phone and live chat sessions. So you don't even have to be seen. You can only be heard. What are you waiting for? Go to BetterHelp. That's HELP.com/stages. And for our cast members, you get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/stages. Go, go, go. Go find your healing. Go find your happy. Stages podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. That's HELP. Hi, I'm Stephanie J. Block.
And I'm Mary Lee Fairbanks. Welcome to Stages Podcast,
where we're bringing creation and connection to center stage.
Can I just first say, this podcast is so wonderful, and congrats to you ladies on doing it and like getting it out there, because I know that it is not easy and you all make it look easy. So artist to artist, ladies, I am just like, wow, it's amazing and so cool. And I'm so happy that you all are putting out this kind of word, if you will,
That's really kind of you to say. I think we feel like the world has been a little upside down, right? And everybody, and especially now, everything's just crazy. And instead of feeling helpless, you just want to put just a little good, just something small. And I feel like the people that we've talked to have been their hearts are just wide open and they share with us. And I feel like we've achieved the goal of putting just a little good in. And I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you listening. Too. I love it.
Thanks for seeing the hustle, because we recognize it in others too, right? Thank you for that. Everyone, you are in for a real special treat. Now, this intro is going to sound a little like a third grade English report as I start, because the Oxford language definition of joy is a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. The definition of fun is enjoyment and lighthearted pleasure. And our guest today, in any space that he is in, he is joy. He is fun. He was recently featured in Entertainment Magazine's exclusive photo spread celebrating 25 magical years of Disney on Broadway. He is currently starring on Broadway as Genie in Aladdin. His holiday album of Fierce Christmas decked my halls this past Christmas. It's so fantastic. And they also have a store on his webpage with all of his fierce merchandise. half off right now. Get it for Christmas 2022. Also, what I love about this this artist, is that because of his joy, he has now become family with a lot of movers and shakers, one of whom is Casey Nicola, who is an extraordinary director, probably one of our most prolific directors in recent years. And Casey has brought Michael. Oh, well, there's a little cue. There's his first name, Michael. In the Book of Mormon, Something Rotten, co-starring with my husband in Elf. And his voice and his heart, they work together when he creates his music. And you will smile because of this being, his presence, and his art. Please welcome to Stage's podcast, Michael James Scott. Michael James Scott to stage, please. Michael, we need you on stage.
Yes, Stage's podcast. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
You know, that intro made me wonder, like, what word would people look up when they were introducing me?
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that? Yeah, I want to be joy and fun. I don't think I would be, though. Cuckoo lady or something? I don't.
No, you wouldn't be cuckoo lady, but humanitarian. I would look up the word humanitarian for you.
I don't like people. I like animals.
What about like
truth teller?
Truth teller, or like metamorphosis, since you've gone through so many changes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay, what about me? Go.
Oh my gosh. I would say like earthy, soul, definitely heart. You're like digging, and literally there is like, what's
discovery.
The definition of
Excavation.
Excavation.
Yes.
Excavation.
Discovery.
Thank
I would say that.
you. You're speaking like ladies that are doing it and making things happen. And I want to speak to your mother, Karen. And she, that word fierce is very true to your mama. So speak to how she has always influenced you, encouraged you. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but just speak to your mama Genie, Karen.
Yes, Mama Genie. Gosh, I mean, moms for me are, they are superheroes. So it is, I am a hashtag proud mama's boy, and I love it so much. And I am so thankful for just like, since I was the littlest of smallest chocolate drop, chubby, running around Orlando, Florida, I have always been told yes. And Mama Scott always, my father as well, but Mama Scott has always been extremely, extremely supportive with whatever it was that she wanted her sons to do. And the biggest thing for me that I love, I am blown away by both of my parents is that I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, and we lived in the inner city of Baltimore. And my parents, what the sacrifice of what they did, and this was my mom being like, nope, I'm taking my little Black sons out of the inner city of Baltimore, and we are moving down to Orlando, Florida. My aunt happened to be there stationed in the Army in Florida and met her husband, my uncle, and they were there. And she was like, well, just come. They got up, packed. We were 5 and 6 years old. We went down there. And that to me, I mean, like that says it all about Karen Scott. I am so grateful for the heart that I had at home that was just a constant open. I was never not in my head thinking, and this is from my mom, I never thought I couldn't do something. Mm-hmm. And that for me is, I mean, I surround myself with strong women for me, and just sort of their that strength. And that started with my mom and my grandmothers and like all of those women, my aunts, all of them around were extremely important. And my mom gets that strength from all of them, but not afraid to also be soft and compassionate and just feminine. Do you know what I mean? In the most beautiful way. And I think that I see that, and I saw that growing up, and I responded to that. And I think that that's one of the reasons why now, as a grown man, I am okay with the feminine side of what it is to be a man as well. And that it is actually pretty beautiful and joyous and needed.
You mentioned the word yes, which is remarkably powerful and can encourage and empower and give confidence to our kids. But on the other side of that is the no. When you'd been living in that sphere of affirmation and yes. Do you remember when one of the first no's came to you and it like went through your belly?
I always say no meant maybe. Like so many, like there were so many things which someone would say no, I'd be like, but like maybe, like really, like you know what I mean, like really. I say that with fun, but the biggest no in my life, the one that that just sort of stands out because it happens to be a crushing no, was being told that I wasn't getting into literally every school I applied for in college, like going to the next level in terms of theater. I was on this trajectory. I was at a performing arts school. I was fierce. I was winning the national titles of this and that and all the things. And everyone around me was doing, like all my peers were, who, if I named them now, you would know a lot of them. I went to a very amazing performing arts school in Orlando with people who are literally on television and in theater today, still doing their things, right? And they all were in all the schools, quote unquote, that were like, quote, like the paths that you were like, I think you were supposed to take.
Sure.
You're here,
yes.
you hear. And cut to, I didn't.
None.
And that was
you didn't get
no. I did not one school that I applied for that I wanted to go to that I get in. And so that was the no. When you say no, that for me was like the biggest no at this point of my life. I think about that time and I think about what it did shape me. I've been from the joyous little Michael James Scott that was just sort of like a constant laughing and all the things. Like my mom was so worried for her baby because I became quiet for the very first time in my life. And as a mother, I can only imagine, I am not a mom, but, I know I'm speaking to, Sophia's mama. And I can only imagine what that must be when you know your child so well, and when you see like true
disappointment.
Yes.
When the light dims, it's even sometimes worse than the tears or, even if they're crying, you feel like there's an opening to help your child, to soothe your child. When there is shut down and the light has turned out and closure, it is desperate for a parent because you think, I don't know how to reach them in this moment. And that's rough. And so that's what happened to you in that moment with college acceptance letters.
This was the first time that my mom had to alter how she interacted with her baby in terms of how delicate this situation was, because I was literally at that sort of precipice of whether or not I would even be continuing on with this. And I think that was a challenge. When I look back at it, I think, wow, like that was actually a big challenge for her as well, in terms of like, how am I going to broach this with my son? Still keep him lifted, but let him go through what it is that he needs to go through and support that, and what that actually means. I mean, I feel like so much was it's like so dramatic to say, but there was so much at stake in terms of, I was the first person in my entire family to go to any sort of college, to get any sort of degree, any of that. The idea of the possibility of like that it is possible. I think I was the embodiment of that for so much of my family. I was a child actor. There were times where literally our light bill was paid from a commercial that I did. So I think it was like a big pivotal moment for all of us. And so Lord, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you believe in, picked my booty right up. The crazy thing was that I ended up having to I auditioned for a school, Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri. They had a conservatory there. They happened to have the last audition of like the season, April 28th, I'll never forget. And I was able to apply to that school at the very end while I was auditioning for like another school. And I could get into the craziness of like us getting phone calls from literally the deans of all these big conservatories telling me basically why I didn't get in. And part of that reason was because they already had a Black person. I grew up believing, and actually it working for me in so many places, being this little Black boy was actually a beautiful thing. And even in the moments where I was literally the only one, which is what I grew up with, always being like the only one, was actually a wonderful thing. I'm the story of it working in a way that I had a community that lifted me up, not just for the color of my skin, but just because of the wonderment in a child's eye. That's not the case for my parents, and I've witnessed that firsthand. But these schools, which at the time, it's amazing to sort of think like, once they got their quota, quote unquote, if you will, of, we're one Black boy, one Black girl, one Asian girl, one Asian boy, maybe one Latina boy or Latina girl, period. That was it. Without saying those things, I knew what it was.
But the language is finessed in such a way that the message is clear, but it's not pointed.
And I was a specific type too. I was bigger. I was not, quote unquote, a leading Black man. Like I wasn't Norm Lewis, the sort of the Brian Stokes Mitchell, like a leading Black man type. Even like a Ben Vereen. These are very far few in between in terms of this sort of classic, not Blair Underwood, Denzel Washington, that sort of thing. And that was the one. Those were the sort of types that were being accepted. Right. And it was very rare where you're like, oh, well, where's the other? And so where did I fit? And where was I going to actually make my lane, and what was actually possible? And I tell you, if I did not have the foundation that I did, I would not be doing it. My foundation was, why can't I be the one?
Right.
It's Kelly Clarkson with Wayfair. My favorite thing about the holidays, decking out my whole house. And it's not a competition, but if it was, I would totally win the season with Wayfair. Giant outdoor inflatable Santa, got it on Wayfair. Trees, lights, and ornaments in every style and color, yep, got those on Wayfair. Garland, accent pillows, cozy throws, nutcrackers, Wayfair, Wayfair, Wayfair. When it comes to hosting, Wayfair's got me covered there too. I got a brand new dining table set that fits the whole family, sheets and towels for extra guests, and even the cutest holiday bed sheets for the kiddos. All thanks to Wayfair. And the best part, I got it all shipped fast and free. It's a Wayfair holiday miracle, y'all. I'm not saying there's a champion of Christmas or anything, but if there was, it'd be the lady with the year-round Christmas village who shops at Wayfair. That would be me. For everything festive and just your style, all delivered with fast and free shipping, visit wayfair.com or download the Wayfair app to totally win this season. But again, it's not a competition.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Well, it's funny because when Steph and I are prepping for something, instead of writing down specific questions, we write down a person's what we call superpowers, right?
Yes.
And the list I had for you was an inextinguishable spirit of idealism, and that you are a romanticist dreamer. That was what I wrote down for you.
And I wrote, the definition of joy is the definition of fun. And then in comes Mary friggin' Lee.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
No, but that's because just listening to your interviews and stuff, I was like, and I said, where did you find this foundation and was it ever shaken? And that was one of the questions I had for you. But now I'm wondering, because you said you had a sibling, right? When you moved, you said the two of us moved. Is your sibling like this as well?
No, it's a bit different.
Isn't that funny? Siblings can be really different, right?
So right. And we're 16 months apart. So and I'm older. We're like what they call it Irish twins. Or something.
Yeah.
It was like my mom and dad was like, bam, bam, and done. Like, and we're out. Thank you. And we're so different. So yes, to answer your question, it is very different.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm very different from my siblings too. And people meet my siblings and go, wait, those are your brothers? Like they can't believe it. We're so different. But it's bizarre because you grew up in the same house, you have the same parents, that nature nurture thing. It really does show.
That's right.
You know?
And you
Absolutely.
question, you go, is the artist brought to the music and the poetry and the storytelling, or is it already in you? Is that calling and that music already in you?
I think we have kind of a predetermined nature, and then our environment either elevates it or crushes it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like my mom said, I sang before I spoke. And so she would play music more because she said, well, my child sang before he spoke. So there was just always music. And then the church, so for me, like that idea of music and what that is, like, I believe that I came out ready to like give you a full 11 o'clock number at 3 o'clock.
Is the church still a big thing for you?
Yeah, yes and no. The spirituality of church is I don't get to go to church like I used to. It's a complicated relationship with church in terms of like me being a Southern Baptist growing up in that world and being a gay man, a Black gay man, right. And what that means. And I had to really figure out my relationship with my God and what that actually meant for me, what that is, what that means. And I think that my relationship I now is so much more spiritual in the sense that like I have become so much more comfortable with me that I have been able to really because I still yearn and long for faith and spirituality and just the higher power of it all.
Yeah. Do you find that Broadway Inspirational Voices feels like a church experience to you? Does it fill you up in that way to share a song with all these other amazing people under the baton and direction of Michael McElroy?
I mean, yes. And it was like, I thought, I can now be done when Michael asked me to join the choir, a while ago. And I got to do a concert thing with them and be a part of that ridiculously yummy, beautiful community of spirituality and gospel music that I grew up with. It was like, oh my gosh, this is happening right now with literally every kind of person you can imagine.
Every walk of life. That's right.
And people are all being inspired by all of this right now. And so, yes, it was a huge, I think, turning point for me, knowing that I had those people in this community and that was something that was, again, possible.
You talked about Ben Vereen a little bit earlier, and I know that you've had a great relationship with him. Will you talk just a little about that?
At the end of my senior year of college, before I didn't even do my showcase, there was a whole fight for me to do. They hadn't had a Black man graduate in 7 years. And so one of the things was like, we would like to have, you come through our program. This is amazing. And it was wonderful. Webster University was so good to me. And I left to go stand by for Ben Vereen while I was a senior in college.
How did that happen as a senior in college?
Well, I had been doing these things this summer. Instead of doing summer stock, I would do a theater program called Broadway Theater Project, which was down in Tampa, Florida, which was created by Ann Reinking. Because I learned how to dance Fosse from like Gwen Verdon and Ann Reinking, which is, when I think about that, is insane. And so I would go there in the summers instead of doing summer stock. Actually, that's also where I met my husband, Jeremy, which is also, he was at that camp. # they met at theater camp. That is actually true. Like the gayest thing ever and wonderful. But Fosse was going on at the time, and they would also try things out on like the apprentices down there and whatnot. Well, I had done a bunch of Fosse stuff for them. And in my senior year, I got a phone call to come and audition.
Okay.
That's how that happened. But I was like, this is why I'm at this school. I got this job. I literally finished my last semester doing papers in the airports of Europe, which was the most insane thing.
You were destined to be there, obviously. Yeah.
Destined. Yeah. That's exactly right. I showed up to the first day to the theater in Paris, Theater du Châtelet. To my right, I could see the Eiffel Tower, and to my left, I could see Notre Dame. And I walked out and walked onto the stage, and there was Ben Vereen, who at that moment said, "Baby boy," what he still calls me today. And he took me in his arms and hugged me, and he was like, "I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here. I want you with me all the time." What that meant was like, he literally wanted me, like, he was like, "I want to feel you right here. I want to feel you right off the stage. I want to give it all to you." And I would come in, 3 and 4 hours before the show, and we would sit on the stage, meditate together, talk about life, talk about the material, talk about being an artist.
What show are you speaking of, Michael?
Fosse. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Yes, I was at the Fosse, the musical Fosse, which is an amazing musical review of all of Bob Fosse's work. If you've not seen it, cut to there we were, and he just taught me the groundwork for like how I was going to move forward in this business. And Ben is someone who I never thought I would meet. Are you kidding me? Child, in the Black community, Ben Vereen? Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, he's an icon. For sure.
He's an icon. One of my favorite things, this is Ben Vereen. Ben, when my family came to Paris, they came to Paris to see their son. They knew that I was the standby, that they weren't going to get to see me. But of course, they wanted to see Ben Vereen.
We love you, honey, but we want to see Ben.
Like, it's Ben Vereen. Like, we come in to see,
We've seen you sing.
Paris. Exactly. Now we see you sing since you were this. Like, it's fine. It's fine. So I got a message to come to his dressing room. Went to his dressing room, and he was like, "So you're going to go on for your family. It's time. You need to do this. This is something that you will never, ever experience in terms of being able to have this moment with your parents and your family and what this means to them in Paris, France, somewhere they've never been out of the country. We're doing this." He's like, "But do me a favor and don't tell anyone." And so he was like, "I've already talked to everyone. So it's up to you." And the next night, which is the night that my family was all coming to see the show, I did not tell them, but I walked on stage.
Oh my gosh.
And in that moment, Ben also came and had a house seat and sat next to my family.
Oh, well, that's the kicker. Having that seat to experience alongside your parents, and also with that parental energy, giving you the support. Like, I am here.
And it is possible.
Wonder.
In Paris, France.
That's amazing.
Like, so when we full circle back to the know of what was going on in that time of like feeling like there is no place for me. To that moment.
Yeah.
And the idea that it is possible and not just for, a BIPOC child or a person, I'm talking for anyone. I am here to tell every last person in this universe that it is possible.
Did your parents then not get to see Ben Vereen perform?
They did.
You've missed the point of the story, Mary Lynn.
I have not missed the point, but I would like to circle back because let's face it, we all want to know that we've seen Ben perform.
Not only did they get to see him perform, so the next night he literally arranged for them all to come to the show, see the show, and then we all went to dinner.
I was going to say crepes and croissants had to be involved somewhere.
It was a whole. And also the leadership of watching him lead a company was like how I learned. I was like, in terms of like, in my career, I would always dream that one day I would be a leader in a company and just sort of like be a part of like setting the tone, right? And like what that means. And that's what I have gotten to experience so many incredible leaders. And he was like the first one where I got to experience what that looked like, what that leadership really looked like. But, I got to be in a company led by Miss Stephanie J. Block. So
the end of a segment. Okay, so moving on.
I'm just saying.
Your relationship with Disney is now deep.
Yeah.
They love you. Okay, here's a little Disney quiz. Okay. Michael James Scott. What is the name of Belle's horse? Okay, take note, Tommy Schumacher. His name is Philippe.
Oh my gosh, I did know that, but I
No, you didn't.
Okay, this is a multiple choice. Were the voices of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse A, brother and a sister, B, married, C, also the voice of Chip and Dale, or D, members of the Disney family?
Was it C?
Also the voice of Chip and Dale?
Yeah.
They were married.
They were married. Okay. Yes.
0-2. True or false? Walt Disney World Resort is almost as large as San Francisco. True or false? That is correct.
Yes, that is true. I have heard that, which is I'm a world boy. I know you're a land girl.
I am a land girl. Okay, here we go. Is Cinderella's castle in Walt Disney World or Walt Disneyland? Disneyland. Cinderella's castle.
That's in Walt Disney World.
That is correct. It's Sleeping Beauty's castle in the land.
Is in land.
Okay, so you were half and half. You were 50%.
Oh, God.
What is your favorite Disney tune?
Gosh, you know, I had to Go the Distance.
Yes.
Hercules.
Is that Schwartz or that's Stephen Schwartz? Yes.
Or
is that how Alan Menken?
No, that's Menken. Yes.
Alan Menken.
Either that and Colors of the Wind. And I get to sing that in our Disney on Broadway concert. Go the Distance is just like, there's just something about it.
So now you've been Genie in several companies, Broadway, London, the tour, Australia. Do you feel there's a difference in the sort of storytelling depending on what company you're with or what country you're in?
Aladdin is like a universal show. They say like music is a universal language. Aladdin is a universal show because it is such a beloved story, literally all over the world. Part of it, I think, is that the Genie is so much full of light, love, and laughter that when that is the center of your story, the cruise director, the driver, the company around you feels that.
That's right. So that's the contagion. It's your experience is going to be joyful and fun. And because that truly is the center of the story. And then you put Michael James Scott in the middle of that part in the center of the story. And like you said, when you walk into a room now, much like Ben Vereen, you set the tone. So whatever company you walk into, your demeanor is what sets the rehearsal, what sets the days on stage.
Yep.
Does that exhaust you?
For a while it did because I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a big responsibility to do that. But then I had to be okay with where I was that day. Like I know my normal, like where I am, where I live. And that if I come in for a day that I may not be in that place, that it's okay. Like it is actually okay because I have set the tone, my authenticity, like as a person, to know that that the walk that I'm walking is the walk, and that we all have our ebbs and flows. And that if I didn't have some of those days, I actually don't think I would be somebody that people may not have really respond to in an authentic way, because I am showing that there is some days, and I'm saying to you, like, it's okay. Like, I feel you, boo, today. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's not exhausting anymore. And in fact, it actually is empowering in so many ways, because it allows me to know that it is okay to be in that place. There's so many people around, starting at the top where from your top producers to your directors, your
stage management team,
everyone, that we're all collectively there. And I have always made it very clear, like from the jump, let's be together and clear on this really, really friendly, safe space.
The power of you is very clear when you are in a room. And I know that does hold a lot of responsibility, and it is a collective understanding that it starts from our directors and whatever. But the day in and day out, if you have Michael James Scott in your cast, which it's going to be a good day. You're going to laugh on stage. You're going to see something new, and you're going to walk away full just because of the presence of you. That's the gift, Michael James Scott.
That's very, very kind. Thank you. And I'll take that in. I will take that in. That means a lot.
So now you've been in some of the greatest hits, right? The ALADDIN, Book of Mormon. And you've been in one of the top 10 flops of all time. The Pirate Queen, the Pirate Queen. You know, I believe the New York Times literally just came out with a new list of all time, not like in the last 10 years or the last century, all time flops. I can't remember if we were number 5 or 6, but so I'd love to hear.
Mary Lee, girl.
Mary Lee. I
am very sorry I missed that one.
Give me 5 sentences about that experience. And it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to bounce off how I just prefaced our show, because listeners, there was a lot of good to that show. So tell me what you thought from your perspective. You think back on the Pirate Queen and what comes to mind?
Well, it was a year of work, which is also amazing. I mean, as crazy as it being a flop, or whatever, it was a year of work, which was amazing. Mm-hmm. I also will say it was a wonderful lesson of how to fail gracefully, on so many levels. I got to meet friends for life in that show. You being one of them. I think it was also a really lesson of protection. We were protecting this. I'm still proud of Pirate Queen and what things came out of the Pirate Queen. I really am. I still am.
Too. Talk about protection. We were in Chicago, out of town tryout. We were teching this beast of a show. We were doing a sword fight, and in teching it, we were adding one element at a time, right? So first rehearsal lights with the swords, just basic movement, then change of light with the swords, basic movement, then costumes, then fog, and everything needed to happen incrementally to be safe. But it was costing the producers a lot of money to just tech this one battle scene. And I think, if I remember correctly, they wanted to fast forward just a bit, right? Let's put 2 elements together. Let's put 3 elements together at the same time. And sure enough, the stage trap door opened up while we were sword fighting, and I fell through the trap. I heard the screams. It was 12 feet to concrete. Now below me, there was this big treasure of booty. So there's a big chest with, a candelabra and other swords. And so I fell 12 feet onto that and then bounced off and hit concrete. I cracked 2 ribs and I had a lot of bruising and swelling and soft tissue damage. But then I was in an apartment by myself. And this sweet soul, Michael James Scott, Nick Adams, and Tim, was it Tim Bish or was it Tim?
Bish.
It was Tim Bish.
Yes.
And they said, no, you're not staying by yourself. You're going to stay with us. And these 3 humans literally would help me off the toilet, would help dress me. My mom finally came in, as did Sebastian. And but for 24 hours, these 3 kind of just rotated and kept a watch on me because I couldn't lie down because of the broken ribs. I was having trouble breathing. And so that's the protection he's talking about. It's not just a metaphorical protection. It was truly a physically being there for one another, because that show was just so the exertion and the exhaustion from everyone was madness, was just madness.
I never knew that story. I never knew.
No, you weren't. So nobody was supposed to, really. We were doing these crazy thing called cast comms, which, by the way, have you ever thought about that? In 2006, to do cast comms, every day we did a video or a blog journal, right? A vlog journal, which was a decade before it was actually
it was so ahead of its time.
Yeah. The producers, of course, didn't want anybody to know that their leading lady was there with broken ribs, and we had to open in 2 weeks, and I could barely breathe, let alone sing. But I wish you would have seen it, Mary Lee, because the piece was, yes, flawed, of course, but it was like a museum piece. The lighting by Kenneth Posner was almost like you walked into a museum and were looking at a masterpiece. The costumes by Martin Pagadinas, who has passed, but he went to Ireland and he took like sheets of paper and would take pastels and get the bark of the Irish trees. He sewed soil from Ireland into the hem of my costumes.
Oh, wow.
Like the care and love and attention to these. So when we were not welcomed, even before we got to New York, it was made clear that our show was not going to be embraced, for which I still can't speak concretely about. I don't know why. So New York kind of turned its shoulder on us. And in doing that, we all fell in love with each other even more. We just refused to be, we could be ignored, but we refused to feel like we didn't belong. We became like a clan, like a
little Irish clan.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
So there's a lot of good, but number 5 or 6 on the flops of all time. But I will forever love you for so many reasons, but still to this day, to have that care, you know, and we had only known each other, I don't know, 6-8 weeks, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you are giving me your arms and saying, come on, get off that toilet, girl. You can do it. That's love. My last question is, who pours joy into you? You exert so much. You're constantly withdrawing joy. How do you get that deposit back? Obviously, your husband, Jeremy.
He does because he is very adamant about me being me. I find joy in so many things around me. I really do. I find joy when I am on stage and I see people crying, or I see people like bopping up and down. I find joy in so many little things throughout my day. My husband cracks up because like I get so excited about the smallest thing. Like I get excited about having a latte in the morning with my egg white omelet. I guess it's because I'm such a kid at heart, but I am so blessed on so many levels in my life, and I am so grateful for so many people and the experiences that I have around me and where I've been able to come to, that I think I really, when I think about joy, I just think about life. It was like where my album came out of. It was a protest to all of the Black Lives Matters and all the racial awakenings that happened in our country and right during the George Floyd murder. And in my head, at the end of the year, my husband was like, okay, we're doing something. And literally my protest to everything was joy. That was going to be my protest. My protest was going to be a Black man with a smile on his face, an image that you hadn't seen in the media. And my protest was going to be holiday music that could bring people together. You don't even have to celebrate Christmas, but the idea of holidays and what that means for everybody, for me, was like a protest. When you say what brings me joy, what I have been given from so many people, that I can stand here and live and give out joy.
It's a choice. Beautiful. You made it a choice. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the 5 questions.
If I were to walk into your closet, is there a piece of clothing, a garment, a piece of jewelry that you will never get rid of because of the memories it holds?
Oh gosh, yes. But I would probably say it's my first Louis Vuitton bag that I bought. On my first production contract, like back in the day, literally over 20 years ago. And I was like, I'm going to buy, her name is Desiree. And it's this amazing bag. And I will never, ever get rid of it because it just means so much, because like I got to buy it and I was like, oh my God. So it's that.
Okay. I like it.
In the book that is your life, what is this chapter called?
Unapologetically Black. Actually, unapologetically chocolate. That's this chapter.
If you could have any special skill, worldly, otherworldly, what would it be?
Probably It might be to play the piano.
Mm.
Play the piano.
Beautiful.
Okay, you're kidnapped. You have one phone call. You have to tell your husband you're in trouble without telling him you're in trouble. What do you say?
I think I would say not fierce.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And he would know exactly.
He would know you are in terrible
Something's
danger.
wrong. Something is wrong.
I would say not fierce.
Okay. If you were a nail polish color, what would that color be? And what's the cheeky little name of that nail polish?
It would be like within the purple family, and it would be like grape juice a go-go.
I love you so much. Do you understand that?
My
cup runneth over. Oh my gosh. Give
I'm
Chloe
so
my
happy
love.
I got to meet you.
Give Jeremy my
Mary,
love.
I will. It is so wonderful to get to chat with y'all. And thank you for having me. It's been so good for the soul.
Coming up next, What Struck a Chord with Us, right after a word from our sponsor. Stages podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Our theme song says, love where you are now, but sometimes we all need a little help. I've learned from therapy and in my yoga practice that growth comes from challenges. A good therapist can help you reframe the way you look at a challenge and your life. And BetterHelp can provide you with a therapist that give you some tools to navigate. They offer customized online therapy, either on video or phone chat sessions. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can reach a therapist in under 48 hours. And right now, Stages cast members get 10% off their first month with BetterHelp, so don't wait. Remember, when you support our sponsors, you support Stages Podcast. So log on to BetterHelp, that's HELP.com/stages, and love where you are now. Hey, listeners, before we get to What Struck a Chord, I would like to put in a fact check. The Pirate Queen was actually not listed in the New York Times as one of the 25 worst Broadway musicals of the millennium, but it was listed in Time Out New York as one of the 25 worst Broadway musicals of the millennium. It came in at number 11. Also, it was listed in the top 10 worst Broadway shows ever made by Broadway Ticks, coming in at number 5. And now, What Struck a Chord with Us?
I love when I see people intentionally choosing to pay attention to the happy or choosing the joy. Or again, I mentioned it in the interview, that old cliche of glass half empty or glass half full. I'm not saying that we need to always fabricate happiness. You know, I think both you and I are real advocates of making sure that that holistic understanding of your emotions, whether they be the negative or the positive. But when you can look around and say, my God, I'm so blessed. I can't believe I have this opportunity. I can't believe I have this life partner. I can't believe I have my health. That I think that gratitude is truly the source of joy. And it seems to me that when he speaks of his family and his art form and his life and I mean, to even, in his words, combat the atrocities of George Floyd and the social injustice, to combat that with joy. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you see people like that, who are so joyful out in the world, you, first of all, you're reminded like, oh, I need to practice gratitude. This is such a great reminder. Like, he's the kind of person I'd like to check in with every day. You know what I mean? Like, tell me how to be today. Yeah, he's lovely. And then, and there's a difference between practicing it and using denial of negative feelings, you know? And he definitely is not like using denial. He's actually choosing to practice joy. And when he was saying how some days I don't feel it, you know, I go into the theater and I'm not feeling this and I'm not going to pretend that I'm joyful and happy today because this is what I'm feeling. But we've already laid the foundation of joy, so I get buoyed. And it's that heartbeat. It's that heartbeat that we always talk about, you know, in the theater. I mean, that is what theater is. It's just, it can be such an uplifting, buoying experience. It's really, It's really amazing. He's a great guy. You're so lucky you got to work with him.
I do feel lucky. And like you said, checking in with him every day when he is in your cast, or he's part of a company member, or a dear friend. It really is that he's there to listen. He's there to be real. But my goodness, when you can find the joy in the mundane, that's an incredible way of looking at the world. Yeah. How lucky I am. How lucky I am. And that, I say it all the time at the end of every discussion. I go, okay, that's a great reminder for me, or I need to adopt that as my own. And we as humans are just so easy to recognize and say, yes, I need that. And so equally easy to forget within a matter of hours or days. So holding on to that and the consistency of it all is really where the power lies. And that's Michael James Scott.
First logged on to Zoom, my morning was a little harried. I had lists and I was on the phone and we literally were saying, oh my God, okay, I got to focus. And then he came on and the mood changed in 5 seconds. The minute his face came on, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And suddenly I was happy. All the stuff that I was doing before I hit the go button on the Zoom disappeared. I want that to be my word, Stephanie. What do I need to do so that'll be my word?
So the word joy is yours?
Yeah.
I don't know what you need to do.
I need a lot of work.
Oh. Well, today we can claim it as ours. Today we hope our listeners claim it as theirs. Whatever comes from him and from his creative source, it is drenched in happiness and it is contagious. And you will find it for yourself if you surround yourself with his art.
That was fun. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
So if this episode resonated with you, please follow, subscribe, and share.
You can always find us at stagespodcast.net. A big thank you goes out to our assistant and doer of all things technical, Saren Cho. Thank you to Noah Kaiserman and Garrett Healy for our beautiful original music, Melanie Von Trapp for our Stages Podcast logo, Brock Grenfeld, our sound engineer, and Allison Arns, our PR and social media expert.
And thank you, our cast members, for joining us today. We hope you come back next week.